months since I really did a live, and I figured it was time to catch you guys up on what's been happening. It's been a lot. I have kind of been writing about what's going on, but there's nothing like having some real talk, women and wine style, the way we would normally do it if the Power Network was in existence in person in its normal capacity. So, since it's not, which it will be soon, just from day to day, things change as far as um, COVID and wanting to keep everyone safe. And right now, we're focused on our 5-year anniversary, which is coming up on September 19th, which, if you were at the Power 10 last year, you already know, from the band to the DJ to the clothes to the room. I mean, it is absolutely one of the chicest, most fun, empowering, inspiring events of the year. And so I hope you will grab your tickets. On top of it being all of those things, it is also a fundraiser. And so it's our way of giving back to minority entrepreneurs, minority female entrepreneurs. So that's all I'll say about that. You can get tickets on our website at powernetwork.org/events. And we're over halfway sold out, so don't miss it. Get your white chic. We haven't had a good party in a while, and so it's time to have one. So that's that part. So I called this Tales of a Power Mommy. So haven't been live because about 6 weeks ago, I had a toothache. And I'm sure some of you guys who have been rolling with me for a while are like, how many toothaches can one person have? Obviously, for me, a lot. And so this one required an extraction, and just like all the other ones that had been root canaled, crowned, etc. And I would say if I had to do it all over again, I would have just got them all pulled out to begin with, implants, and called it a day. So lesson learned. Dentists will try to convince you to save the tooth. But anyway, I had some unexpected complications as a result of that, that impacted me physically in a way that I've never been impacted. Now you're gonna see my face move because I got my iPad right here doing Instagram, and I've got my laptop in front of me doing both my Facebook pages and YouTube, because I plan to be very intimate with you guys today, very transparent, and I don't know if I can repeat myself with what's on my heart to share. So anyway, I got extremely sick as a result of the extraction. It took a very long time to heal. For all of you amateur dentists out there, I tried it all, and nothing was helping. I went back to the dentist every week. I went to see different dentists. I did everything that you could possibly do. And it was just one of those things that it just had to heal, and it had to take all the time it needed to take to heal. The issue for me came in with, during this time, I was on Vicodin as well as antibiotics. At one point, I was on Percocet, and they downgraded me to Vicodin. And I started to notice that it was causing me some brain fog. I started to notice that I was repeating myself. And even just talking to girlfriends, I'm not meaning clients. And I started to notice that I was missing little things that I normally don't miss. Like working with different graphic designers and things like that. I'm usually the buffer that catches the mistakes, that catches the misspelled words, that catches if there's a period where there shouldn't be one, etc. And all those things were missing. And not all those things, but here and there it was happening. And me being me, who likes to execute things in excellence, it was really bothering me. So a couple of things happen when you're an entrepreneur and that's happening. Or one, whichever one we want to name it. You feel like, okay, I've got to push out this work. And, that's why this Naomi Osaka and Simone Biles have really hit me, and them being able to be in a position that they could stand up and say, I'm not well and I need time, and I'll be back when I get well, because they have the resources, they have the support, they have everything that's needed to be able to do that. But let's just keep it real. Most of us who live a regular life don't have that luxury of just saying, hey, yo, I'm taking time off. And, you might have a week, you might get a week and a half, but when you're talking weeks and weeks and weeks at a time, it becomes somewhat of an issue. And when you're dealing with chronic pain like I was, you just try to push through. And then especially when you have kids, because kids don't necessarily understand that mom doesn't feel good. And so you just keep going. Now, I'm not recommending this. I'm just saying, like, I know that in my life I've had to do it. And I know that there's some women who don't even have some of the luxuries that I have. So I can only imagine. There's women every day who go to work who are homeless, whose lights are off, who don't have food in their refrigerators, who need every single dollar they make to do all the things that are required of them. And one false move, it's done. And so it's a slippery slope. And I definitely have some amazing clients that I was able to have conversations with to just explain that in order to give the attention to detail that I needed to write copy, create curriculum, etc., I needed the time to heal, and they've been patient. And then with that, as a business owner, when something happens that is beyond you, then there's concessions that you should make. So, I got to do a little coaching in here to help keep your clients whole and to show them that you value their time and their business. And so whatever concessions I need to make, I've done as such. So the tooth thing was happening in the background, and I play strong for the internet. I smile, and I've been showing my little workout videos, and I really was going to work out regardless of how I felt, because I needed to feel like that I was useful in some space. But I'm actually taking the next couple of weeks off from working out, because the little bit of energy that I had, I was depleting in doing that. And so sometimes you just gotta know when enough is enough. I'll be back. But right now I need to rest. So that's happening. And then, I call it this Tales of a Power Mommy, because in the meantime, all 4 of my children have needed me in so many different ways. You ever have so much going on in your life that you don't want to tell nobody, and you don't even want to call your friends, your family, your co-worker? I don't got co-workers, I work for me. My employees, my contractors, my clients. And it's like, I am not going to call these people and tell them another thing happened in my life, because at this point I'm just looking like a problem child. And that's where I had got to. Like, shame had started to kick in. Now, keep in mind, nothing that was going on in my life was my fault. I didn't plan for any of this. I wasn't being lazy. I wasn't being irresponsible. It was just like the series of unfortunate events between kids getting sick, me getting sick. And I'm not talking about little, I'm talking about, I've been to the hospital more times in between June and July, the last couple of months, than I've been in a very long time, not just for me, but for my kiddos. And so it's just been a lot. And of course, they come first. And everything has to be dropped when, they have need for me. So that's been happening. And then in the meantime, I have a daughter going through puberty. I have a younger daughter that's just a firecracker. She'll be 9 in a couple of weeks. I have a son leaving for his sophomore year of college. And then I have an older son who is living on his own with his significant other for the first time. So they all need guidance in different ways, and they all call mom. And I want to show up for them in the best way I can, despite not feeling myself. And so I've tried to do that. If you follow me on social media, you may have also saw me and the girls out and about, and it may have looked like we was living our best life, and we enjoyed ourselves, but that was kind of forced upon us. In the midst of all of this, my refrigerator died, and the new one was on back order. And so we were forced to eat out for almost 2 weeks until the new one came. And so that was expensive, and As fun as it looked, it was not fun to my wallet, and we made it through. So God is good. Other piece of it is that a lot of this I've been doing alone. I'm trying to find my words for this. I mean, it's not a surprise to anyone if you follow me, but I'm sure you've noticed that there hasn't been a ton of pictures of Mr. McKenzie. I love him. He's great. He's around, but he's not around under the same roof as me. And, I don't know if that's permanent or temporary, but that's been happening since last year. So boom, there's the news everybody's been waiting for. Boom, bam, bow, boom. So now if you've been gossiping about it or guessing about it or wondering about it, I like to tell my business myself. So there you go. So that's that part. And what else should I say? I should say that that's been hard. That's been hard. That kind of took the rug from under me on top of everything else that I have going on. And it hit me harder than anything has ever hit me before. And I hit a wall towards the end of last year. I mean, last year was already rough for everyone with COVID and everything that was going on. And then, unfortunately, COVID was not the best for my marriage. And we're still, pushing, trying to get the kids moving. And during that same time, it's like when it rains, it pours. I lost some friendships that I thought wouldn't go, but they did. You want to find out who really rolling with you, go through a hard time. You'll find out who's hanging and who was just there for the good parts. And I wish all of those people well too. I don't hold grudges. I don't tend to say bad things. I usually don't even tend to tell my side of the story. I let whoever think whatever they want to think, and I just keep doing me. Because what I have learned in my 44 years on earth is that the truth always comes out. And as long as I am living to the best of my ability and treating people well and owning me, good, bad, and indifferent, then it all works out in the wash. And I know for a fact that I do not go into any relationship with malicious intent. I do not go into any relationship to mistreat anyone. And I am who I am. And so for some people that works, and for others it doesn't. And I wish them well. And this is not one of those like, I am what I am and I can't get better, because we all can get better and we all can evolve. When I say I am who I am, I mean that. I mean the good parts. I mean, I show up, I'm caring, I'm loving. But also I have 4 kids. I'm running a business. I have a radio show. I have a lot going on. And it's not to say that anything that's happening in my life is more important than anyone else's, but I don't have expectations of people that they drop everything and be there for me. And I don't have expectations of people that that their world revolves around me. But unfortunately, you'll have people in your life that tend to take it personal when you're busy. And I don't take busy personal. So that's that. And, what I know for sure is that those that are closest to me, because I've had the same best friends a majority of my life, they get me, they understand me. They also live a life as busy as mine. So it's not that big of a deal. There you go. So, yeah, that happened. And work is busy, which is great because the whole world tend to open back up at once. And so I am trying to unbury myself from a whole lot of work while healing. I was just in the hospital Thursday. So thank you for all of those out there giving me grace. I will say that today I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm still pretty fatigued. I'm drinking Ensures and Gatorade. I still can't do solid food, believe it or not. So your girl is is struggling a little bit. But my mother taught me that no matter how you feel, you comb your hair, you throw something on your face, you throw some clothes on, you get it together. And so that's what I do. I do what I got to do. And I want to encourage anybody else out there, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I will say this, that when I am feeling down and when I'm not doing well, if I walk around bumming, that does not help my mood whatsoever. So what am I doing about all of this? Because I just gave y'all a lot, and it sounds like what is she doing? What's the point? I am going to therapy. I had found a therapist that I thought would work, and unfortunately, I just didn't feel like that I was making the right moves or improving or on the right journey. And so then I switched therapists a few months ago, and I will say it has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. So, point one of this video, it is just like when you pick a dentist, if you pick a gynecologist, if you pick a family care provider, if you pick an orthopedic surgeon, and you feel like y'all just not clicking and you are concerned about the course of care that they have outlined for you, if any, you have every right to change doctors. And so that's what I did as it relates to therapists, because there should be this symbiotic connection that you have with your therapist, that when you leave, you feel like that some work has been done and you feel like you've peeled back another layer of the onion, that now you have a week to really think about that layer that got peeled back and what could you do differently, or what should you do more of. And so I just want to encourage anyone out there to do that. When I first got into this mode of adjusting to all the life changes that had happened, I will be honest, I'm human. I just kind of buried myself in the house, and I wasn't really going anywhere, and I wasn't really talking to many people. And if you and I just wasn't feeling it. I always tease and I say, I finished Netflix, I finished Hulu, I finished Disney Plus, I finished HBO Max. Of course, I didn't finish them all, but it felt like it. And recently I was talking to someone who I knew was having a serious bout of depression, and they asked me, and I was just like, when you are in that dark place of not feeling like yourself and trying to figure out which direction to go, and actually, licking your own wounds and feeling like you failed, and feeling like life is never going to get better, and feeling scared about what the future looks like, you can either just lay there and keep feeling like that and wait for them to put the foreclosure or eviction notice on your door and repossess your car, and for your hair to look crazy and your teeth to not be brushed. Or you can drag yourself out of the bed and do the opposite of what it is that you want to do. And that is what I had to do. I had to get up and just pull myself out of the bed and say, you know what? We're not doing this. This is not what we're doing. So what we're not doing is we're not giving up. We're not giving up. It's not what we want it to look like right now. It's not, it doesn't feel good. It's not what we planned for, but it is the cards that life has dealt us right now. And just like every card game, eventually it comes to an end. So you need to play this hand like you've never played it before, trust in God to hand you the right cards, and that when this all comes out, you're going to win. And as a woman of faith, I know the race is rigged, and I know I win. And so with that being said, I'm just being positive. Other things that I've done besides therapy is a lot more reading. A lot more introspection, a lot more time with God, a lot more quiet time. I have been in a relationship and a mom a majority of my adult life. I can't say that I've had extended periods of time alone, unless it was work related. And I definitely have never taken a break a real break unless there was a health condition involved. And so just learning to be okay sitting down and saying no, and saying I can't come, and saying I'm not going to overextend myself has been a very freeing thing for me. The other piece, you guys see my videos, I point them out joking and everything, is I got really serious about working out, and I got really serious and got a personal trainer. And people often comment on how well that I look since I've been working out with a personal trainer. And I honestly consider that the icing on the cake. The goal for me was to get stronger, to just get stronger in every way possible, and to get stronger from a mental dexterity perspective, to get stronger from an internal health perspective, and to just do some things to take care of me. Self-care is so important, especially when you're in the service industry, especially when you own your own company, especially when you're a parent, because you tend to have other people pulling on you that need you, and at times make you feel like they need you more than there's a need for you to take care of yourself. So that's been going on. So recently, I said to my therapist, I said, life is not perfect. However, I am living in ways and prospering in ways that I could have only dreamed about a few years ago. My kids are doing exceptionally well. I, for 44, I'm not bad to look at. And I have a beautiful home, and I have a prospering business. And I'm like, I should just be so happy. And I couldn't put my finger on it on why, because I wasn't sad per se, but I was like, what is it? And a couple of weeks ago, Bishop Jakes preached a message. Y'all know that's my bishop, even though he in Dallas. I'm an member of the Potter's House. Bishop Jakes preached a message about, and he called it the second chapter, and he talked about grief. And he didn't just talk about grief in the sense of us losing a loved one due to them, unfortunately, leaving the earth, but he talked about it with us grieving anything: the loss of a job, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a certain lifestyle, etc., and an opportunity, so many things. And when he said that, it was like, yo, that's what it is. It's grief. And if you think about it, that's when you experience a loss. And then you think about the 5 stages of grief, and it's anger, denial. I'm not saying them in order: anger, denial, bargaining, depression, acceptance. I know I got the last 2 in order. And I was like, I'm grieving. I'm grieving the fact that life does not look how I expect it to look at this point in the juncture. And as he went on in the message, he talked about how we got to move on. Like, you only can grieve for so long before God expects you to kind of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep it pushing. And I know that's easier said than done. I especially do not mean this I have so many friends, unfortunately, who've lost children, who've lost parents, who've lost grandparents, etc. Take the time that you need to grieve. And even if it's not about death, take the time that you need to grieve. But just know that even your loved ones would not want you grieving forever, to the point that it caused you to not live. Unfortunately, they're gone. Unfortunately, the job is gone. Unfortunately, the marriage is gone. Unfortunately, maybe the child has gone off onto their own thing and they don't want to have anything to do with you. And so, you have to pray. You have to do what you have to do. And you have to keep moving, because life is for the living and it is to be lived. And for every day that you spend thinking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda, because the reality of it is grief is living in the past. It is living in the past and hoping that things could be like they used to be, when in all actuality, it is impossible for things to be like they used to be at the same time that they are how we want them to be or how they could be. The future may have something so much bigger, better, bolder in store for us. But because we are holding on with everything in us to what used to be, we don't even know what's on the other side. I remember I said to my therapist recently, I said, I just can't see the future. I can't see this happening. I can't see that happening. I can't see moving on like this, like that. And, and he said, it's because you don't have the door closed from your past. And so since you kind of got one foot in and one foot out, you're not going to see what the future could possibly hold because you still holding out to see if this past thing is going to work out, and this past life that you had designed in your mind is going to work out. But then he said to me, and y'all take this in context however you want, he said, but you can't do it alone. Like, especially if it relates. So if it's a business partner, if it's a significant other, if it's whatever it is, like it isn't, we can't control the emotions of someone else. We can't control a situation if someone else is our partner in it. So all we can do is all we can do is control ourselves, how we react and how we move. So for me, what I've decided to do is to take care of me, because if I don't take care of me, I can't take care of anyone else. And my kids need me, and they're dependent on me, and I plan to be there for them. And my clients need me, and they're dependent on me, and I plan to be there for them. But also, on my deathbed, I'm not going to wish I had one more client. I'm not going to wish I built one more website. I'm not going to wish I launched one more brand. So even with that, I'm finding balance, because if I kill myself trying to do everything that they need me to do, then when I'm gone, they might be like, oh, that's sad, but they will find somebody else to finish it. Whereas my kids can't get another mama. So now this is, don't do bad business now. Now don't don't do bad business. But hopefully God surrounds you with people who understand that extenuating things happen, and things beyond your control. And then you have to give yourself some grace, knowing that it's beyond your control. You do what you can, and when you can, as quickly as you can, and you keep it moving, and you take responsibility for when things don't go the way they should have went. And so, yeah, man, it's been one. It's been one. It's been the last couple of months I've been tested, tried, fire baptized, as the church mothers would say. And you know what? I believe that I'm going to come out gold. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all of you. And I'm thankful for anyone that is touched by this message. What I tell you too is the only way out is through. So every single day, I just get up and keep going. And I keep pushing, as Ms. Tammy said, because the only way out is through. And so the only way we fail is if we give up. Someone needs you. Your life is important. So don't give up. You never ever know what the future holds, and so just know that how it looks today, it may not look tomorrow, and you don't owe anyone an apology if you change your mind, if you go back, if you stay in a situation, if you leave a situation. Whatever you decide to do that's best for you, do that. But the only way that you can make that decision is to take time to make the decision. And on so many, and I had to really quiet myself, and I had to quiet the voices around me, even the voices of those who I know love me beyond words unconditionally, because everyone gives you advice through the lens of their life experience. And at the end of the day, your life is your own, and every relationship has its own DNA. Unless they're sitting right next to you at work. And even still, you can be sitting right next to someone at work with the same boss and be having two very different experiences. And so it's going to be so important that you spend time alone to think about what you think about, and to be honest with yourself about what you need in order to feel that you are living a fulfilled life, and to find your happiness and find your joy. My joy And that's why I said tales of a power mommy. Right now, my joy is my children. Well, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Let me go and throw that out there for the saints. But also it's my children. They keep me going. They pull me out of bed. They make me laugh. They love me immensely. And I'm thankful for them. And now I'm not no helicopter hover mom. I'm not thinking that they not my partners. They not my significant others. But I am enjoying watching them grow up, and I'm enjoying and guiding them along the way. And then in addition to that, I do love what I get to do for a living. Someone said to me recently, why did I put the Power 10 out there now, knowing everything else that was on my plate? And the reason that I didn't just want to do it, but I felt like I had to do it is because honoring those 10 women that I'm honoring, and then raising that money to support the hopes and dreams of other minority woman-owned businesses makes me happy. One of the, you want to stop focusing on your issues, and you want to stop being concerned about whatever you have going on, lose yourself in the service of others. And so that is what that allows me to do, in addition to the work that I do each and every day. Like I said, the only piece that this whole tooth thing is stopped is if look, and if you're out there watching, if there is a writing piece that I agree to do for you, or website copy and things like that, just being on those types of medications definitely does not make the best writer, because you need to have some attention to detail, and you need to be able to concentrate. And I always want to put out my best work. So I think y'all all caught up on what's going on. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for joining in. I hope that I see you September 19th. This has been this 5-year journey of the Power Network since I left corporate America and stepped out to do my own thing. Hasn't been easy. At the beginning, I was broke as a joke. And I've lost homes, I've lost cars, we didn't vacation. There's so many pieces of the story that people don't know. They see, where I've landed now. At times it cost me my marriage. It may cost me my marriage permanently. And not to say that I put it before my marriage, but it's an interesting thing in this patriarchal society we live in, when a woman really steps out into her purpose. You really have to have a really strong partner who is right there rocking with you. And when I say strong, I'm not trying to insinuate that my husband is not strong, but you have to have someone that's on the same page as you and is willing to walk through the fire with you, because you walk through some fire and you're stressed and you're busy and you're gone. And you're not necessarily there to be Susie Homemaker and the domestic that men believe that we are meant to be. I always remember years ago when, people talked about the fact that the number of women CEOs was growing, and how women CEOs are expected to be the CEO in the workplace, but also the CEO in the home. And it's hard. It's hard. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. And I work with people every day who aspire nothing less than to have their own business, because they think it's going to just be so much easier. And you're not going to have all these people telling you what to do. And you're not going to have all these rules and regulations. Guess what? The fact that it's all yours sometimes can be even more stressful and more of a, what's the word that I'm looking for? More of a test than working for someone else will ever be. There's no PTO, there's nobody to back you up, there's no FMLA, there's no short-term disability, there's no 401k. You gotta, figure out how to invest on your own for retirement. And so it's a lot. And so before you dip your foot in that pond, make sure you're ready for everything that comes with it, because it's no joke, and it's not for the faint of heart. And there's very few times that you get to be off. And I will tell you, a majority of the time that I'm actually off, it's because I'm sick, which is unfortunate. And so just know that I'm not sharing this because I needed to vent or there's somebody to talk to. I got friends, I got therapists, I got this. I'm sharing this because so many people look at social media and they look at the successes of individuals and they think that life is all peachy keen. And I just want you to know that there is not one woman that you're stepping back and you're looking at and you're thinking, man, her life is just perfect and she's just got everything and she got it going on and she's this and she's that. And all of those things are true. She do got it going on, and her life is not perfect. Nobody's life is perfect. However, just know that the amount of hours that she's putting in, the amount of blood, sweat, and tears, the way her knees are hitting the floor if she's a praying woman, the way that she is shouting, the calculated risks that she's taking, the leaps of faith that she's taking, it's no joke. And what I want to say to the ladies out there that are living this life is I want to say to you to take care of you. Take care of you because there's only one you and there will be more work there tomorrow. And we tend to jump into these things. And a lot of times I would say it's out of fear of losing the next contract, losing the next client, losing our reputation in the workplace that we overdo it. And by overdoing it, we actually do ourselves more harm than good. And so I just want to encourage you to take time for yourself, even with going to the therapist, even with going to the physical therapist. My therapist tasked me this week with figuring out what I'm doing for self-care. I still ain't figured that out. My answer back was seeing you. Like, isn't that enough? But I know I need to do something. And I just have to find time to do it. I mean, people think they know how much I work based on my social media. I worked all day Saturday. I didn't post anything about that. I had just got out of the hospital, but I had already made a commitment to this client. I knew they were dependent on me to be there and to run their event. I also am in the midst of doing an exorbitant amount of writing. But it's still not to my satisfaction. So working on that takes a little longer. But I'm feeling better every single day and believe in God that hopefully, by the middle of this week, I'll be all the way back to myself. So anyway, that's all I got to say. Anybody got any questions? I said this was going to be women and wine style, even though I don't have no wine. But yeah, I don't have no wine in my house. Somebody send wine. Yeah, I mean, it is only 1:28. I guess I don't need wine. And I did just get off the radio. But yeah, anybody have any questions before I shut this down? Nothing. Okay, last thing, y'all pray for me because it's August 2nd. In 12 days, I take my youngest boy to North Carolina to move into his dorm. And Jesus, who's gonna empty my garbage? Y'all think this is funny when I say this, but I don't empty garbages, and who gonna carry my groceries up from I got one of them little folding wagons to go into the trunk to come up the elevator with, but he's my manual labor around. He's my muscle. So I'm definitely gonna miss him, but I know that the girls and I will figure it out. And thank you for all your prayers and all your thoughts for myself, for Danielle, for the other kids when COVID hit the house. After vaccination. So, I try to keep their business low key, but yeah, just know that. And it's just always something. It is always something. Like Les Brown says, if it's not one thing, it's 12. So just know that, yes, Danny week, Lexus, like she could let us forget. She talk about her birthday every single day. Luckily, we will be out of town because that is the day her brother moves into the dorm. So she's excited because she feels like she's getting a vacation for her birthday. And so, yeah, that's the other thing too. I'm team no kid left behind. So regardless of how I'm feeling and regardless of what I'm doing, I am going to be that mom because that's who I've always been. And they didn't ask to be here and they won't be children forever. So no matter what, I want them to know they can count on me, and I want them to know I got their back, and I want them to be good. And so that's all, you guys. Have a wonderful and blessed day. I just said a lot. I might delete this later. But I just, I've always been a very transparent person, and I've almost felt stifled um, all of 2021 because there's been so much and I haven't shared. But y'all know I'm a lot of things, but phony is not one of them. And so just sharing what's happening in the most high level way possible. And yeah, that's it. So talk to you later. Peace, love, power. I'm out.